So Zaz is clearly struggling with the strain of his workload.
I don't think strange for me, but like,
oh boy,
he's got a bit of a speech impediment.
Didn't you want to know what were the kids doing?
And I don't know what his worst moment was just speaking.
The Packers win or the Bears lose.
But I think yesterday he had his most embarrassing moment when we welcome in a new sponsor that we're thrilled to have. Everyone around here just loves White Castle and has loved White Castle for a long time. And as part of his betting portion of the segment, he said that Mike Brown might get fired soon and take the Nets over the Knicks. And then the Nets lose by the score of, I'm not making this up, 120-66. 120-66. Has a team scored fewer than 66 points this year? The Heat have scored 70.5 8 times this year.
You didn't buy up the points. That's on you. The Packers win or the Bears lose.
So the Nets were an 11.5 point dog. I would have had to buy 50 points.
oh boy.
120-66. Please, Jeremy, tell me that there's been a game this year that has had fewer than 66 points scored by a professional team. I'll give you all of Europe and the G League as well. Like I'll give you high school basketball. 66 points is crazy.
I'll find all of that. Thus far in the season, before yesterday, the lowest scoring game by a team was the Indiana Pacers, with 78 points against the 1 seed Detroit Pistons. The Pacers, of course, are one of the worst teams in basketball.
The Knicks have never beaten a team by more points. Oh boy, in their history.
The fuck?
Can you explain yourself? Like you came on. I mean, we've got this great new sponsor. It's a segment featuring you. You're eating a delicious burger. You're rewarded with
this is a tasty burger.
And you miss the point spread again was 11.5.
Buy it up.
And they lost by 54 points.
Oh boy. Handled my business on against the spread.
How is that possible? Like why? On what grounds did you pick the Nets? Why would you pick the Nets?
Well, yeah, it was an inspired effort by the Knicks.
Oye, pero tú no puedes hablar. ¿Qué te pasa?
Basketball is back, Jack. Time for our favorite winter sport. The summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip-off. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a three or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man to man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say basketball, basketball, basketball. Basketball is back, Jack. 360 dunks and pick and rolls. And we're gonna watch it every day till they raise the Larry O. Hard fouls and hook shots. A dagger three and hack a shack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back. Basketball is back, Jack.
I see that the content companies in sports are struggling a little bit today on Get Up. It's Ken Harbaugh turn it around in year one because Nobody really wants to talk about Jarrett Stidham, and there's one football game remaining that people are interested in the outcome of. I suppose they're also interested in the outcome of Broncos-Patriots, but you can't get me to watch that game. I don't want to watch anything.
You can't watch. Come on,
You're
Dan.
just not going to
Come
watch.
on, Dan.
I'm with Dan. I'm good.
You're such a liar.
Let me know how it ends.
You're such a liar. Sunday, 3 o'clock, everybody's going to be locked in. Zaz,
Nope.
I know you're going to be locked in because you like football, Zaz.
Yeah, come on. Championship Sunday.
I don't want to watch the tattered remains of a quarterback in an injured league where the 49ers are now investigating the power plant next door because everyone's hurt that Jarrett Stidham's going to start his 5th game and his first game in 750 some odd days.
You guys are watching football. I've lost my will to live.
I want to talk to you about the University of Miami stealing Duke's players, not just their quarterback, but now their fast, tall, white wide receivers. I also want to ask the audience and everyone in here, what is the best white wide receiver in the history of professional or college football in Miami? Because I don't know that we've had a great one. You've got some Brian Hartline. You've got Wes Welker, but he only had 1 touchdown here. He had all his scoring with the Patriots.
What do we do with Restrepo and Berrios?
They're Latin. They're the Latin character.
I mean,
category.
Berrios is more white than Restrepo. We can agree.
I believe we can agree on that, but they're a different category. They go in the bunch of best Latin receivers Miami has had, college or pro. Mike,
are a different category.
what can you tell me about Cooper Barcade, and what can you tell me about how mad Manny Diaz is about the fact that Miami likes some of his players and just takes them?
Well, I mean, these players just entered the portal. Hopefully they pick Miami. I don't know what's going on there. There are people out there suggesting that Miami's the favorite. That'd be great because Cooper Barcade is one hell of a white wide receiver. A tall, fast, smart, electric white.
He's an exciting white?
He's an electric white. Whoa. Over 1,000-yard season. Look at his highlights. Just search him on X. Like, the guy is awesome, and he's Darian Mensah's favorite target. Now, the Mensah thing, not great optics, admittedly. They're suing Darian Mensah. There's a temporary restraining order.
Duke is suing Darian Mensah, their quarterback.
Yeah, so he has a temporary restraining order from going to another school. He was officially entered into the transfer portal. Cooper Barcade, it was reported that he had re-signed with Duke in December. I don't know, something like that's going around that place. Sit down in that chair, Manny. Enjoy it.
So the stealing of players, and if you want somebody's players, this is chaos time in college football, the business of college football, agents running things with very few rules.
It's not all puppy dogs and ice cream, though, for your Miami Hurricanes. They are dealing with the most devastating loss of our lifetime, and also Pringle entered the portal last night, and not the only running back I expect on Miami's roster to enter the portal.
It's not the most devastating loss of our lifetime.
I like him. He's quick. He offers them an option they don't particularly have at running back, although Fletcher did run away from Indiana's secondary. I do need to say
they
something.
didn't trust his pass protection in the college football playoff.
And Fletcher was in for pass protection and whiffed badly.
Just one, yeah. It was so out of character that you notice, but, I mean, he's one of the best pass blocking running backs I think I've ever seen at Miami.
And for those of you who think we are homerific about these things, we were telling you that everyone says that Fletcher is a model character. What do you guys do with the information? Because a lot of people out there only have the video and information. There's a UM player, and he's taking a swipe at an Indiana player. And we were explaining to you, look, that's hugely out of character. Something had to be said there that was bad. And then Mike Rumpf reveals after the game that the Indiana player said something about the death of Fletcher's father. I think everyone listening to this, if I give them that piece of context, all of them say, yeah, you if you get hit there, you deserve to get hit there if that's true.
The way that he backed up suggested that he did not want that smoke, and he also knew that he was in the wrong. And also there has not been a denial yet from Indiana as it pertains to that. Mark Fletcher's dad died recently. He texts him before every game. Mark Fletcher was very gracious in defeat to Fernando Mendoza just moments before. Obviously an emotional time. Mark Fletcher is the unquestioned team leader of Miami, and that dude definitely said something, and I did not need to know the report to know that whatever that guy said, he probably had it coming because it was Mark Fletcher.
Yeah, I choose to believe Mike Rumpf in that spot, especially because everything that we've heard about the type of kid Mark Fletcher is. It'd be nice to get some kind of evidence, someone else to also say the same thing as what happened, but I choose to believe Mike Rumpf in that spot.
But when Mike says that the Indiana player did not want the Rumpf smoke, I say it's because Rumpf is wearing did not want the Fletcher smoke. It's because Fletcher was wearing a helmet and the kid in Indiana was not.
That's never stopped anybody, Dan. Come on, how many people have thrown punches with helmets on?
No, he wasn't afraid of getting headbutted from Fletcher. He was dodging those fists.
The kid from Indiana, then went on Twitter after the game and was taunting Fletcher still.
Yeah, he was pointing at his ring finger in that moment too, and did something similar on X.
There was clearly something that built up during the game. Like, there's no way that just out of nowhere, right after the game, the kid decides to randomly say something about Fletcher's father. I'm sure something was going on throughout the game.
He texts his father every game, "I love you, be with me," every game. And that was a public thing that was also celebrated in this game and previous games as the story of Mark Fletcher.
What's the word association with punch thrown after a game? Is it Trent Williams, Richard Sherman?
Oh, I always think of LeGarrette Blount.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. You won the game.
Punch thrown after a game. I got to think about that for a second.
I go Trent Williams. I love that video.
The Garrett Blunt one was cold.
That's always the one I go
Rare
to.
good moment for Zaz this week.
Yeah,
Thanks. Trying to build back up.
Chris Cody, can you do me the favor of finding Mad Dog? This was celebrated yesterday. Mad Dog was trying to say the name of Jarrett Stidham.
I haven't heard this yet. I'm excited.
Had a hard time saying the name of Jarrett Stidham. I am in no position to mock people for their name saying. I'm getting a lot of names wrong. I was talking to Kornheiser yesterday. He's like, I'm getting so many names wrong, but not as many as Wilbon. Wilbon's getting more names wrong than I am. Bo Nix, in the history of football, 27,000 players, the shortest name in the history of football is Bo Nix. 5 letters. A totally irrelevant fact for you that I'm guessing that you guys did not know. But in this game, the Broncos are a 5.5-point underdog. And since 1970, since the AFC-NFC format, 112 conference championship games, the home team has never been this big of a dog in the home game. Never. 5.5 point dog is the biggest point spread that a home team has ever had because nobody knows what to do with the analysis of the Patriots defense is good. Look at how they made C.J. Stroud look. What's going to happen with a quarterback who's played 4 games? I know Diana and others are telling us, well, Stidham knows the offense and Sean Payton's going to have his guys ready. And I actually expect it to be close just because football and home team. But I don't know how you analyze the point spread on this game. And I also don't trust Zaz with it, given his most recent work with point spreads. On behalf of White Castle, where he told you to take the Nets last night as an 11.5-point dog at the Knicks, and they lost by 56.
I bet my castle.
Buy up the points. That's not on me.
You told me to bet the castle.
I've got a quibble here to take up with Chris Cody. I heard him muttering yesterday during lunch. He's like, death, taxes, and Mediterranean food. He was complaining.
Not complaining.
It happened again?
Dog, that's my favorite dish here.
It's just a lot. I love Mediterranean, too. Love tzatziki sauce.
You know about that gyro? Come on.
I was planning on never eating again. And then I saw that Mediterranean, and I'm like, okay, this will be the last time.
We have different styles, though. There's some that come with a big bun. They have a bunch of different meats. There's one that has a brisket that's fire. So I'm back on Mediterranean.
I just don't understand why Chris doesn't bring his own lunch if he's worried that the free Mediterranean food isn't good enough.
Have you seen the sad lunches Jeremy brings? I'm not doing that.
Don't talk to me about sad turkey sandwiches. Come on. What
They
are
are
we doing?
extremely sad.
Wheat bread, dude.
Do you
There's
put
not-
any
No,
mayo
it's
on
not
it?
wheat bread. It's multigrain.
The visual of just whatever that bread is,
Yeah.
I don't care what's underneath there.
I look
sad.
great, okay? I look great.
Sad
It's
sandwich.
I feel
so
great.
sad.
No,
I don't care about my sad
Mike
sandwiches.
is looking
That
at
my
you.
zero sugar.
Mike is looking at you that way because of how hard it was for you to get broadcasted words out of your mouth from under that beard. He is Will Ferrell from the Cowbell skit on Saturday Night Live.
And what the hell is Tony doing? He just looks cool.
Cock of the walk, baby.
That's Bruce Dickinson.
Bruce Dickinson.
He's got a fever. It's a great costume.
Thank you, buddy.
Are you Christopher Walken?
Say it, baby.
Hispanic walking?
I don't know that I was ever more surprised in a music video than seeing Christopher Walken dance so well. Classically trained dancer, and it's a Fatboy Slim video,
Yes,
right?
weapon of choice.
And him dancing was just a wonderful reveal that I did not know that he had in his arsenal, where the whole video is Christopher Walken dancing, coming down an escalator. I don't know if I've ever been as surprised by a cameo performance.
That's
in
the whole
a video,
right? Him dancing.
It's just him dancing. Put it on the Paul at Le Batard Show. Like, I mean, Paul Simon did this with Chevy Chase, like using celebrities for cameos, but I just have never seen something in a video that surprised me more than seeing Christopher Walken dance well. Put it on the Paul at Le Batard Show. Would you have had any idea that Christopher Walken danced well before seeing him dance in that Fatboy Slim video?
Danced in King of New York.
That's a good movie.
Excellent movie.
I want to ask you about what's going on with Giannis. Let's play the sound here. They lose last night to a banged-up Thunder team at home. Giannis walks past Doc Rivers, ignoring him. I am going to have some trouble with Doc Rivers' legacy as a coach, as a guy who always loses Game 7s.
What's the trouble?
And, well, what do you say about him? Just bad.
He's not a good coach.
I mean, he's gotten an awful lot of chances with an awful lot of good teams, and he's a champion, and you're just saying he's not a good coach, and he's a champion.
The champion. They were like the worst team in the league in 2007, and then because Kevin McHale and Danny Ainge are buddies, they acquire Kevin Garnett, and all of a sudden Doc Rivers is a champion. Give me a break. Not a good coach.
I'll get to that in a second, but you just mentioned 2007, and it just it reminded me of that Gator team that won the championship right after 2007 and 2008. You guys want to guess how many players on that roster were arrested? Urban Meyer's champion Gators of 2008. Do you guys want to take a guess at the number of players on that roster who were arrested?
I think it's in the 40s.
It's 41. 41. It's a third.
Roy's guess was 8.
That's how you play the game.
A third of the roster. Yeah, Zaz really did undo my ability to do anything
play the
with
game
it.
better.
We've got to teach him how to do
Guess
this.
lower.
Are these individual arrests or 40 different people got arrested?
That's a good question, and it is 41 players. It's a third of the roster was arrested.
How wild is it, though? All of those players who were arrested and Urban Meyer's still allowed to be on the team. But Urban Meyer told Cam Newton, listen, you got to get out of here. It's too much.
Stole a laptop? You got to go.
You can't be here anymore.
I mean, 41 is a staggering number. None of it covered in the Netflix documentary that was about that championship team. Just ignored. There was a murder in the huddle, 41 arrests. Let's just celebrate. Tebow put a halo over the huddle, and
Mr.
that's
Tebow.
all that matters.
To be fair, he wasn't a murderer yet.
That we know of.
That we know of. Thank you, Roy.
That's an important factor,
A good bit of which one? That we know of, or
that
he hadn't been arrested yet?
How can I?
Let's go ahead and play the sound of Mad Dog trying to say Jared Stidham.
But do you have confidence in Peyton getting the most out of the quarterback in this ball game here? Stick him in this game on Sunday afternoon against the Patriots.
You can tell there's like a 5-second buffer there where he's looking for the name.
He's trying to find it, yeah.
I love him.
So,
But do you have confidence in Peyton getting the most out of the quarterback in this ball game here? Stick him in this game on Sunday afternoon against the Patriots.
Stickum for me is word association Lester Hayes. I always do. Lester Hayes used to cheat by just having glue on his hands as a defensive back. Miami could have used that, incidentally, against Mississippi. Could have used it, actually, against Indiana.
In the national championship game when they had that pick six.
Against Indiana as well. But here, let me play the sound here after the game. The Bucks lose. Giannis's Bucks are now 18-25. The idea that Giannis is going to be on a team that doesn't make the playoffs is asinine, okay? And in the Eastern Conference, it's asinine that Giannis would be on a team that's 18-25. And here he is after the game, losing by 20 to a shorthanded Thunder team. Here's what he has to say.
We're not playing hard. We're not playing hard. We're not doing the right thing. We're not playing to win. We're not playing together. Our chemistry's not there. Guys are being selfish. Guys are trying to look for their own shots instead of looking for their right. with the right shot for the team. Guys try to do it on their own.
So the last 6 games, 5 of them feature the fewest shots that Giannis has taken in a game this season. Can you guys just freeze for me real quick the size of his hands when people, if anyone's wondering how and why it is that he is so good at basketball? I know that we're used to these guys being sort of freakish creatures, but do any of you have a hand that's larger than the entirety of your head? Like he could palm the entirety of his face and be holding the top of his head because of the size of those hands.
You trying to get me?
Yeah, you can tell who got bullied in high school.
Push.
You push the hand into the
Can't get 'em.
face. Yeah, you push the hand into the face once they do that. Classic move. I was cool.
Zaz, what do you think of the fact that Giannis is drowning in Milwaukee?
Ask for the trade. Just do it. Like, just ask for the trade.
But why not do it without asking, like he's doing?
Because
you get the
it
best of
doesn't
both
work.
worlds.
Because it doesn't work. But also, I don't think that anyone is going to be upset with him when he asks for the trade, especially because it's a big deal that they did win there. It's not like with Damian Lillard. It's like, man, but what happened? We didn't even win. Like, Giannis won, okay? This has been a mutually beneficial relationship. I do think the place where people are going to get angry with Giannis is if this stuff keeps going on. It's the talking about the other guys are selfish. It's the, I would never ask for a trade. You know, the team, it's up to them to do whatever they want to do. Whatever kind of stuff that keeps coming out, that's when the tide is really going to turn on Giannis. Just ask for the trade. Just do it. Just ask for the trade.
The passive-aggressive nature in which he does
Yes.
these things is not indicative of the star that he is, right? Like, if there's been
This
lesser
stuff's beneath
stars,
him, man.
There's been lesser stars that have been like, get me out.
What do you
Come get
mean?
me.
This is he's doing the right thing
To
here.
who?
He's not being
To
the jerk
whom?
that's like, get me out of here.
Chris,
He's actually.
but to who?
You think they're going to trade him if he doesn't say, I want to be
I
traded?
just can't believe we're crushing him for being the good soldier. He's clearly unhappy,
He's not being a
but
good
he's
soldier.
not saying the public like he's doing what we would want our athlete
But
to
he's
do.
saving face for who? That's
Yeah.
my question.
He's
for
not
the fans,
being a
they
good
don't
soldier,
care.
though. He's not.
I just think if he can't win here, if he's like ripping his, I mean, like he
He is
ripping
ripping
his
his teammates.
But
He's
like
ripping 'em.
if he's requesting the trade, we're gonna rip him for that too.
No, I don't think so. I don't think
I
so.
think we're talking out of both sides of our mouths here.
I think at this point, Chris is actually the example of why Giannis is doing this. He's game after game after game. They've lost 4 out of 5. Each time it's a different thing. Now it's, hey, my teammates are being selfish. They don't know how to win. Maybe it's because we're young.
And what's he talking about where I'm not maybe I need to ask to shoot more? Like, really?
Well, he's saying, I've never had to be the guy who commands the ball. My teammates have been smart enough to know how to get me the ball in the right position. He specifically references playing with Chris Middleton and playing with Brook Lopez and all of these different guys who knew what his gravity could do. And when he's just banging along, that's when they're winning championships.
Give it to me, baby.
So his teammates are no longer champions, Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. Now it's Kyle Kuzma and Miles
Might be
Turner.
the worst walk-in.
Give it
in
to me,
history.
babe.
Well, he said that the teammates are trying to like put the game on their backs. Hey, they're trying to go win it one at a time. It's surprising to see him talk this way, but I think the reason I said Chris is the example is right now he's saying like, oh, we'll kill him if he eventually is requesting a trade right now. Well, the more you hear him explaining why he should be requesting a trade, and the closer we get to the deadline, then maybe with a week or 2 to go, he finally puts that in, and people like Chris who have been following the saga go, all right, man, well, he tried to call out the teammates. He tried to be the good soldier, but I guess at this point, he has to do it. If he had just requested the trade before things started to fall off the tracks, maybe people wouldn't react as well. And he cares about saving face with that city the same way that Damian Lillard did. He cares a lot about Milwaukee.
I'm the cock of the walk, baby. Listen, here's the thing. Milwaukee is doing this weird thing where they're like, no, we want to actually be buyers at the deadline. And it's like, no, your team sucks. What you need to do is get rid of Giannis and then reload. Thank you. Give it to him, baby.
You are
You're walking.
a Hispanic Christopher Caminando.
I like how bad it is.
It's so terrible.
He's just talking. He's just
So
phoning.
nailed it.
I'm the cock of the walk, baby, is all he's got to the
Say it, baby.
impersonation. he throws a baby on the end of things. That's not making...
Again, how I would usually talk anyway.
But Christopher Walken is, according to people who do impressions, one of the easiest impressions to do. Even Stugotz does
I got a fever,
Christopher
Dan.
Walken. And yours is truly terrible. Like, yours could not be worse. Please stay in character, a method actor throughout the entirety of the show.
Say it again, baby.
Are you guys are with Zaz that Doc Rivers is just a bad coach? I mean, he's got a lot of Game 7 losses. He's got a lot of historic bad on the end of seasons.
Are you asking if Doc Rivers is a bad coach?
He's a champion.
Okay.
Who cares? So is Frank Vogel.
Okay, so who's the worst coach ever to win a championship? Or who's a coach that wins a
I like this
championship
game.
that just has a
like
terrible
this.
reputation?
Les Miles.
Barry Switzer.
Les Miles is pretty good. Les Miles was eating grass on the sidelines.
That guy's dumb. And Google him. More than just dumb. Bad guy.
I don't like calling people dumb.
I'm good calling Les Miles dumb.
But I thought it was sufficient to say he was eating grass on the sidelines. I think that he would pick up grass and eat it. I think
Do you have
that's
the
sufficient.
oil spill sound from Les Miles? All right. You don't want to call him dumb. That's all right. We'll just let the sound speak for itself.
I don't like calling anybody dumb.
Oh,
but,
no, this guy's dumb.
But yes, Les Miles at one point was indeed asked to comment, and you shouldn't ask coaches about everything. They very often don't know a lot about things outside of football, but some of them try to fake it when they are asked about things outside of football.
Since you got to Louisiana, first you had Katrina to deal with. Now you got the oil spill working its way to you. I'm just wondering how that's going about, what that's impacting y'all, and what kind of situation y'all are facing.
Well, it's the impact is more of a anything along the shore, and those issues they're very serious issues, and the impact is on the what is the natural resource of our country, but I don't know that I don't know exactly to what extent it's being handled well and managed or mismanaged. I have no idea. The only thing I know, it's very sincere, and it affects more than Louisiana. It affects the ocean.
Say it, baby.
Very sincere. Mark Stein says, quote, word is that Miami believes it will be firmly in the mix as a legit trade destination for Giannis Antetokounmpo if he actually becomes available. And he also says that the Heat will not make smaller moves like Ja Morant if it in any way impacts the ability to get Giannis.
I talked about this, I think it was before the season started, right? That in the offseason, there had been communication between Giannis's camp and the Heat. And it was conveyed that if we get to a place that this is not working, Giannis is interested in Miami. Like, that was conveyed to Miami from Giannis's people. I said that before the season started.
You did. And you also said there's a opportunity maybe that the Ja Morant Giannis thing could be a combo package. But word around the league is nobody wants Ja. There's nobody willing to make a substantial offer to Memphis for Ja Morant. And it's like, all right, now you're saving all your assets for the one big fish when he decides to make the trade request known.
Yeah, I think things have changed in the NBA when it comes to these big trades. I think it's quite possible that you're going to see you only have the huge packages for guys like Giannis. When you have guys like Ja Morant, who, listen, by all accounts, a really good player. But I think there's going to be a change in the league where you're not going to have these massive blockbuster trades. And I think we're seeing it with Ja Morant.
It's hard for me to believe that nobody wants Ja, but I was also stunned the other day when Mike Dunleavy, the general manager of the Warriors, said this about Kuminga.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as the demand, I'm aware of that. I think when in terms of demands, when you make a demand, there needs to be demand on the market. So we'll see where that unfolds.
When you make a trade demand,
that's a bar.
There needs to be a demand in the market. You're going to keep doing that, aren't you? All right. Very good.
What it calls for, baby.
All right. Yes, good. I'm glad that you're...
Did Les Miles say something? You wanted him to say it, right?
So I told him, say it, baby.
Roy, how do you feel about the fact that Jonathan Zaslow, who once ended a vacation early to support the Panthers because his team needed him, and he flew back into town. Drove, excuse me. Well, you flew down the highway to get back to the Panthers.
Get in the car. We're going home.
He is officially, it was unofficial before if you sensed it, he's officially worried about the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, the Seth Jones injury is worse than we thought. He's missing the Olympics now.
Yeah.
And even the Kachuk return, that bump didn't exactly do well for the Panthers as they lost to the Sharks. So, I understand why you're worried. And it's going to be they're going to have to work hard to get back.
But wait, are you worried?
No.
Okay, I knew it.
I mean, Roy also wasn't worried when we got to Game 7, Does he worry about anything? I am worried, though, Dan. I am officially worried. We are well past the halfway point of the season. It's 34 games remaining. The Panthers are 5 points back of the wild card, all right? Forget getting top 3 in the division. That ship has sailed. They are 5 points back of the wild card, and it feels like we're getting to the point where this is going to be just a lost season, where they have not been able to recover from all of the injuries. Like Roy mentioned, Seth Jones now, who has not played in several weeks since the Winter Classic. He is now going to miss at least through the Olympics because they just replaced him on Team USA. I am at the and look, Kachuk is back, which is great. You have training camp, all right? This is going to take a little bit of time for him to. He could be 100%, but it's going to take some time for him to get back to being Matthew Kachuk. Marchand is still out. He should be back soon. No Kulikov, no Noshek, no Gadjevich. It gets to a point. No Barkov. No, but we knew that, And Bobrovsky, by the way, who I love, is actually having a career worst season. All right. So it gets to a place where I think this is a problem.
5 points out of the final playoff spot. I'm alive again. We are back.
They spent 3 decades there.
This is us.
How about a league rule? If you win back-to-back championships, you get to go in the playoffs next season.
I don't hate that.
Last playoff spot, you get it.
I don't hate that.
Like Champions League? All right. They won the previous season, put them in.
But by the way, it's not just 5 points back of that final playoff spot. Oh, they also have to jump 5 teams to get there.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. If you've won back-to-back championships, should you get an automatic berth in the next playoffs? Because Chris Cody just likes wandering over and just changing the rules to everything.
I honestly could use a break. I'm tired, man.
From caring? You need a break from caring, and hurting?
These playoff runs are exhausting.
Well, he's probably tired because he carried the program on his back. He's the reason they got there.
Oh, you mean a break just from them?
From caring.
I thought he meant a break, like just let us in. No, you were just like
from caring, from paying attention to games. He just needs a respite from pouring his heart into things.
Why is Jeremy such a little asshole?
Jack shit over there.
Why is he such a little asshole?
More cowbell.
No one likes you.
It's a good costume. That's heavy-handed. You know what? That's not. You're going to have to get out of here
Assholes
on that.
like Jeremy?
I'm sorry. No, I'm going to get. No, why would I get Jeremy out of here? He didn't do anything.
We actually need more cowbell, baby.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes. Personal foul. Personal and foul.
It's too bad, too, because I was about to celebrate you as GM of the Year for your work with the Cyclones in Highlight. Jeremy, I wasn't kicking you out. I was kicking Mike out. I'm not kicking.
Come on.
No, I'm kicking Mike out. Jeremy didn't deserve that. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything to deserve that.
I'm not falling for that shit.
Just get out. Just get out of here, Mike.
Can I do a top 5 when I come back?
Sure, but you're going to have to leave here for 2 minutes. What is your top 5 going to be, so that you can tease people, so that time spent listening increases, because people can't get enough of Mike Ryan in their lives.
Top 5 badass plays from the Canes season, baby.
If you cannot, if you want more Mike Ryan, Canes Insight is a place that he has helped found, that is growing and has a lot of portal information. And if you want to follow the momentum of this University of Miami season with fresh information, Canes Insight is where you go. You guys saw on ESPN.com this LeBron, I'm going to call it the LeBron story, but it's about the Lakers infighting. For those of you who don't know, this has been a problem since Jerry Buss died. The kids fight over the ownership of the franchise. And the reported details in this story, unsurprisingly, are that the Lakers were fed up with the amount of power that Klutch had, were fed up with LeBron's ego, were trying to think about how to trade him and begrudgingly extended him just because they didn't want the optics of not extending him. What did you think was the most interesting thing in that story on ESPN.com, Zaz?
The LeBron and Klutch stuff was the only thing I cared about. Because if I'm being perfectly honest with you, this story to me was so annoying. I hated this story. I couldn't keep track of all the siblings. It's 6 siblings, and all of their names start with J. It was Jesse and Johnny and Jimmy and Jeannie and Janie and Joey.
How do we feel about that?
So
move?
you
It's
did
a common
keep track
family
of all the
thing.
names.
And no, I kept having to scroll up, and that's this sibling. That I couldn't keep track of it, Dan. And eventually I said, F it, I'm not reading this anymore. I couldn't get through it.
But does it matter that you have a reading comprehension problem? The 6 kids have a problem. It doesn't matter who's being quoted. You don't know any of them anyway other than Jeannie, so it's just the 6 siblings are fighting succession
I didn't
style.
like this story.
Okay, that's your commentary on it? You just didn't like the story.
I found it fascinating. I found it fascinating. Like the sibling dynamics, it was like reading through a script of Succession. Like, it really genuinely felt like I was seeing how this type of thing with these wealthy people who are gifted this opportunity to have wealth, by the way. Like,
they work hard.
It's their father who bought this franchise and built it into what it was. And now he was literally with them trying to put the succession plan in place before he died. It's all for the point that there wouldn't be this level of backstabbing. And then in the time since, they've all seemingly backstabbed each other. The 2 younger siblings who are Jerry Buss's kids but have a different mother have had this exclusion. Jeannie Buss told one of them that he should never have been born. That was within this story. And you don't find that interesting? Like, I found the entire saga to be fascinating. From our perspective, I can understand where the most interesting thing that stands out is how she felt about Klutch, how she felt about LeBron reacting to the Russell Westbrook trade and then trying to wipe his hands of it because she clearly made the trade just to try to appease him. But the saga of the Buss family was fascinating to read. The reporting was amazing.
I would have been able to find it interesting if I could have followed along with the story.
So blame Jerry for naming his kids all with J's.
Yes, I couldn't keep
My brother's
track.
name is Jason. Jeremy
Joey.
Jason.
There's 2 of you. That's 6 of you.
It's also pretty difficult. My parents get it wrong all the time.
Keep track.
Can you do me the favor, please, and find out for me how many of George Foreman's kids were named George? I think he named his daughter Georgette as well. I don't know if it was 7. Like, that's aggressive. I understand giving all the kids names that start with the same letter, but naming all of the kids George in a household where mom has to call out for somebody and everyone turns around when she says George, that's a real insanity and an enormous ego that wants the legacy of telling everybody there will always be George Foremans.
All right, so there are 12 children. All 5 of his sons are named George. One of his daughters is named Georgetta.
I think Dion did something similar. Does Dion have boys named Dion? Because he does have a girl named Deandra as well. Although my favorite name game when it comes to any of this stuff is that Dennis Rodman was one of 19 children and his father was named Philander. Like, you can't do better than that. That is the best that you can do.
There were nicknames to keep the Georges all separated. So you had George Jr., but then George III, nicknamed Monk, then Big Wheel, Red, and Little Joey.
Time now for Mike Ryan's top 5 most badass plays from this University of Miami season. Any OLIs?
Yeah, OLIs. Visual accompaniment for the top 5, but OLIs, you got to crack the top 5 to get visual accompaniment. We begin with Malachi Toney mossing that Pitt player on that 4th down for crucial style points. And we got... No. That's OLI. That's OLI. We got Mark Fletcher, also OLI, College Station, duo to the outside, beast mode run, huge to put Miami in position for a go-ahead score. Also OLI, Marty Brown running into the pile, pulling it outside and going to the house, all to be incorrectly taken off the board against Florida. And the final OLI, Akeem Mesidor, week 1 against Notre Dame, sacking the quarterback and then doing the leprechaun pose.
I can't believe Mendoza didn't fumble on that strip sack that Mesidor had in that game. I don't know how that ball didn't come out of Mendoza's hands.
Number 5. How the hell did Ruben Bain end up with the ball, the interception, big-time pick against Notre Dame, one of the season's best games and most pivotal in retrospect? Ball bounces off of Keontae Scott's foot. Ruben Bain gathers it. Badass.
That's how the trailer play, baby.
Number 4, the 14-yard pile push in Glendale. Number 3, Mo Toure dying for our sins in College Station.
That poor guy. Man, was he unconscious at the goal line there at the end?
One of the enduring images of this season was Bryce Fitzgerald intercepting that ball the very next play, and Mo Toure being held up by a trainer, having to be stopped from going on the field to celebrate. Mo Toure, great cane for that play. And number 2, Keontae Scott, the pick 6.
That's number 2?
Talking that trash to
That's
the
not
Ohio
number 1?
State
That's not number
sidelines
1?
on the way there, and then the Jim Thorpe Award pose in the end zone.
Goosies.
That's
Come
when you
on.
knew Miami was going to win that ball game.
That's when you knew Miami would be the runner-up this season.
Yeah, and number 1, one of my favorite calls of all time, Mark Jones on the call. One of Miami's best performances of the regular season, a game people were nervous about against C.J. Bailey and NC State. Jacoby Thomas, interception, running it back to the house, pointing at the quarterback that threw it. And Mark Jones says, Jacoby Thomas looked at his wrist and said, I got time today.
Back in my day, seeds.
Seeds. Seeds. Had a slice of watermelon lately? Popped a few grapes in your maw? Then you probably noticed seeds are disappearing from fruit. And you probably see this as a good thing just because it makes life a little easier. We love us some convenience. In fact, it's a terrible thing, the de-seeding of us. Symbolically alone, the seed is the king of life. Adam gave his to Eve, and here we are, if you believe the story. If they take the seed out of humans the way we have watermelons, we're all dead ducks. Beans, peas, rice, coffee, corn, all seeds. Flour and oil started as seeds. All hail seeds. So what the hell is happening? In exchange for convenience, we are not valuing the seed's impact on health, biodiversity, and our food system. The genetic variability of most plants require seeds as essential to their evolution. De-seeded, artificially homogenized fruits rely on human intervention in the reproductive process, exposing the fruits to many pathogens. Plainly put, seedless fruits are not as good for you. They contain less fiber and have fewer minerals and vitamins than their seeded natural brethren. Seedless fruits also have fewer antioxidants, plant-based nutrients, and anti-inflammatory properties. But enough about this science. Bring back seeds because seeds are fun. Not to mention aesthetically and visually pleasing. Kids growing up today have sliced open a watermelon, have never sliced open a watermelon, and experienced the joy of seeing that juicy red flesh dotted with embedded black seeds. Nellie Doogie used to tell us if we swallowed a watermelon seed, a big melon would grow on our belly. It wasn't true. But as kids, we'd make a competition out of seed spitting. You extracted the big seeds from the melon flesh. Tongue only, never fingers or a utensil, and you'd see who could project a seed the farthest. Every summer we did that. This was before video games, kids. Made our own games and toys. Flew a kite, kicked a can, spit a seed. Grapes were the real challenge because the seeds were so much smaller. We'd both pop a grape in our mouth, tongue moving, jaws in action, and whoever could spit out 3 seeds onto the table the fastest.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
At some point during this hour, we will get to Oscar nominations. David Sampson is always interested in that. Sinner's got a record number of Oscars nominations, so we will get to that at some point during this hour. As you may know, it has been a very, very rough time for Mike Ryan. He's having the hardest time at life right now of anyone in our universe, and it's my understanding that David Sampson spent a lot of time last night in his busy schedule consoling Mike Ryan. So, David, what can you reveal about that conversation? We all know that Mike Ryan is going through a much harder time than anyone else here in all regards at life because the University of Miami has lost. So how did that conversation go yesterday?
It's just devastation. I felt his pain in a way that he had no way to compare it to anything that anyone has ever felt or gone through because of the pushing the boulder of the season up a mountain and having it crash down upon him with a Roy Bellamy interception prediction that comes true.
Never forgive him.
Yeah, well, that was just an absolute great call. It's as though we were watching the game on tape delay on the live watch party. And for me, my biggest concern with Mike is I wanted to let him know that he can go to the light and that there will be a tomorrow. But he was inconsolable, Dan. I couldn't get him to budge off of his misery, and he was wallowing it in a way that made me gain perspective on what it is to feel upset. So I was very appreciative of that phone call.
David, thank you, first and foremost, because I do this performative thing for a job. I am so sad. It's legit. I am so devastated. I know you think it's stupid. I didn't go to school there and all that bullshit.
Who thinks it's stupid?
I see all the comments. What do you get out of this? I get a lot, professionally and personally. That being a Golden Cane and the network that's afforded me has been tremendous, and I love the community that I have around my family, and I care so much. This week has been really hard for me. And it was cool to be buoyed by David Sampson, who has nothing else going on in his personal life.
Yeah, listen, I'm here for you, Mike, and I'm with you. I was in sports for a long time, and basically 17 out of 18 years ended in misery for me. And then you have the comparison, which you have because you've been a part of champions before. When you know what it's like to win it all and you get close and don't do it or don't get a chance to do it, you say to yourself, am I ever going to get back there? Will I ever be in a position to have one drive for a national championship? You could live your entire life and the entire life of your family and not be in that position again. Question, is it better to have loved and lost than not to have loved at all, Dan? And that's what we spoke about for about 41 minutes.
What is your greatest sports heartbreak? What is the one that you have still not gotten over?
Ewing off the back rim, Game 7, Eastern Conference Finals, 1995. Easy.
It's a finger roll. How does he not make that? It was just a finger roll.
Pat Riley said, I'm out of here, peace.
It was right. It was in front of me. I was watching it. I thought we were going back to the finals. Jordan was still suspended. And so for me, it was, I'll never forget it. I think about it every day, Mike, and this is now, I don't want to bother you, but this is 30 years ago. And I think about it
I don't think
every
Jordan
day.
was suspended. I think you're breaking news there. Jordan was not suspended.
Well, you call it retired. That's okay.
Call
You
it playing
can call
baseball.
it retired. I'm not calling it retired.
Well, he was
You can
back
call-
though. He played in that playoff.
You think they could have kept something like that quiet? You think that they could have quietly suspended Michael Jordan for gambling?
What a great coincidence that he decided to hit a baseball for the Chicago White Sox and the Birmingham Barons. God, that was unbelievable.
So yes, you think they could that something like that could stay quiet?
You think I'm the only person?
Dan.
Yes, you're right.
on, Dan.
No one's talked about this before.
I agree with
Jordan
David.
had enough,
So do
and
I.
then he
You a sucker?
sent a. Give me a break, would you, Dan? He didn't retire for 2 years. No one in the industry thought it at the time. No one in the sports industry. And it comes up, in these crazy rooms with executives when you're talking about things that have gone on in your lives and careers.
So
I've
just
never
to be
heard
clear,
someone say
to be
he
clear,
retired.
you think that's a secret that's been properly kept for 30 years?
It's not properly kept because we all know it.
Yeah.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Did Michael Jordan retire, or was he secretly suspended for gambling? At Le Batard Show. Do you have any thoughts, David, on the Miami Dolphins coaching hire?
I laughed. I love Green Bay. Let me just say that. And when you bring in Sullivan, it doesn't take a genius to know that he's going to bring in someone who he knows, who he's worked with, who he's excited about. And all I pictured was Stephen Ross having to acknowledge, yeah, it looks like Green Bay knows how to do it, and I don't after all these years. Query, why does Stephen Ross not want to switch gears and go to a coach? There hasn't been one since Wanstead. Why would he not want to go to a coach with some sort of NFL experience? Steve's not getting younger. And so this needs to be the hire that gets him a playoff win and gets him into, maybe a Super Bowl conversation for a final drive to win a ring. And I just worry that he is trying to continue to do what hasn't worked all these years.
You laugh. For the record, the coach and Hafley and all their coaches have NFL experience. None of them of the last 8 have had coaching experience.
That's what I mean.
You laugh?
Because I always liked switching. I loved changing managers the way he likes changing coaches. But we would go from a disciplinarian to a player's guy, back to a front office guy, to a younger guy, to an older guy. We would try everything. I don't understand why a team like the Dolphins, who is the biggest failure in South Florida sports history, this stretch of Dolphin losing, to me, is the number one, worse than anything the Marlins ever did or the Panthers. I can't imagine why you don't try something different.
The name of his podcast is Nothing Personal, and I've been telling you, and I am actually consuming a lot of stuff, and nobody does the sports business and law stuff that I've seen better than David. The Duke lawsuit against Miami over Miami stealing or trying to steal its quarterback.
I understand why that is the general understanding. Miami is not being sued right now.
I know.
Duke is suing.
Well, let's be
Darian
clear, Mike.
Mensah.
Yeah, well, let's be clear what's happening. This is about a contract, and this is about the enforcement of a contract. That's really what the lawsuit is about. Do you have the ability within the constraints of the 4 corners of a document to do something that is not allowed within the 4 corners of the document? And this happens not just in sports. This is the most commonly litigated issue in the land, which is, hey, I'm supposed to do X. I want to do Y. How do I do that? And that's exactly how lawsuits happen. But the reason why this one matters to me, Mike, so much is that right now you're the beneficiary of this. But tomorrow you won't be. And so be very careful what you want as the result of this lawsuit. The ability for a
What
player.
he wants is a quarterback.
Well, that's the
what
point.
I need.
So.
I understand. This is the dangerous game. You can lose players and gain players. I don't like seeing Gerard Pringle in the portal. I do find it curious that Miami tends to be at the center of these things more than other schools, but that's the kind of energy that you need to keep this thing going down here. And trust me, when Miami looks at a player, now that he's officially in the portal, like Darian Mensah, they're checking with their legal department. For Darian Mensah to not be allowed to where he wants to go, that shifts the entire paradigm for the NCAA and college athletics, because these guys need to have a collectively bargained sport. And the NCAA does not want to do that. They want to have these athletes adhere to contracts like they're employees, yet they don't want to admit they are actual employees. Look at the language.
What would happen if they admitted they're employees?
You have to collectively bargain the sport.
They'd be a union, first of all.
Yeah.
You'd have a CBA, and there'd be work stoppages. It would be a total nightmare, and it would just indicate what I think is the future anyway, which is the college sports landscape is just the professional sports landscape with different quality. But, Mike, you said something that I'd like you to think about. We need to allow players, you said, to go where they want to go. That sounds a lot like you just want total free agency, right?
Here's what I want, truly. I want a collectively bargained sport where the players get their fair share and the sport actually pumps money back into the sport. But
different subject, Mike. I'm asking about player movement.
But if they're not going to be treated like employees, if they're not going to have benefits, then I want them to be able to go wherever they goddamn please.
Every year. You mean every year?
Every year. Yeah, that's
so
where
no
we are.
deals.
Are you not watching? That's exactly where we are. Like, all these players are free agents every year. Just because someone is not in the portal doesn't mean that you don't have their agent calling you week one. People have no idea how crazy this is. I think Miami is built for it better than most, so I'm happy with the rules right now, but it's not ideal. It's a headache. I feel terrible for the people that are running these collectives and negotiating these things against these super agents that are just awful people sometimes. Everyone wants to say the kids are the problem. Everybody wants to say that the schools are the problem, when the real problem is the agents taking advantage of this situation. If there is somebody manipulating a situation in athletics, look to the agents, and not just in athletics, in the world. I want the sport to be collectively bargained. I think that's most fair for the kids. The NCAA does not want to treat them fairly. If the coaches can leave, if the administrators can leave, the kids can leave too.
Mike, do you know what comes with a CBA? Agents.
I understand
You will
that.
be knee-deep in agents
Yes,
if there's
but
a
there
CBA.
yes, I understand that. But there will be order. There will be a defined set of rules. And right now, it is just chaos. Now, my program appears to be thriving in this chaos, so I'm built for it. But I guarantee you, this is not sustainable. I'm going to lose kids this way. I'm going to gain kids this way. Everybody's going to be frustrated by it. We're all going to be fighting. There's going to be more lawsuits when all we have to do is admit that these kids are employees and they should be given employee benefits.
But, Mike, here's the issue. If you have a player that you have signed what you believe to be a 2-year deal for $3 million a year, do you put that player after year one in the category of, oh, we got to be careful, he may enter the portal and go to another team?
You're constantly fighting to keep people. No
So why would
matter
you
their
ever give a
status.
2-year deal to anyone?
I don't know why you would. There's no such thing as a 2-year deal. If the kid starts performing and you have a 2-year deal, guess who's calling you saying yesterday's price is not today's
The
price?
only reason there's a 2-year deal is because the player wants to have some type of security blanket. That's
Correct.
the only reason.
In the event that he gets injured, and some NIL deals have protections in there. Here's what. There's also confusion. I was explaining this to David last night. Hey, isn't there a salary cap? Why?
Right.
Why is there so much money still being pumped into NIL? Like, Texas is blowing past whatever perceived salary cap there may be. And here's what the salary cap does. Rev share money is guaranteed. If you have an NIL deal, that money can be recouped, provided you have language in that contract. So if you have a player that is out all year, that doesn't contribute to your team, you can have an name, image, and likeness deal that guards you against that. That's all this means. And I'm pretty interested on your take as to how, because I'm fairly certain most of Mensa's money is via the rev share agreement. How might that complicate things?
Why not just buy insurance instead of having it in the contract? If you're talking about wanting to have a CBA and wanting to have free agency every year, if you're trying to protect an investment, you can insure your players. And if they're out for the season and then with a legitimate injury, then you'd be able to recoup whatever salary, whatever investment you have in the player under certain insurance deals. Does Miami do that?
Or you could collectively bargain the sport, and as part of that bargaining process, maybe have measures in place to protect programs from that too, and the kids.
Yeah, I think that you're wishing upon a star here, because if you actually unionize all of, what are there, Mike, 136 FBS schools? Am I in the neighborhood? You're talking about, what is it, 50, just rough numbers, 50 players on a roster. It is really an unusual amount.
I get
It's too burdensome.
I get it.
To have a union that size.
I get it.
It's not going to happen.
I get it. And I don't think the NCAA wants to stop this gravy train. So in the meantime, you're going to see a lot more Darian Mensahs. Go Canes.
David, what are those baseballs behind you? What the motel behind you is what? The motel replica and the
That's
baseballs.
Schitt's Creek. Come on.
What? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry,
How
Jeremy.
could you not know?
Sorry, Jeremy.
Jack shit over
there.
Okay,
That's amazing, Dan, that you don't know. That's the Rosebud
have not
Motel that
watched
my daughter
Schitt's
got
Creek.
me. That is, you've never watched Schitt's
No,
Creek?
I know
you call
of
yourself
it.
a Jubin?
Seen of it.
I know that Eugene.
You call yourself a
Levy,
Jubin, Dan?
I'm a Jubin.
I don't
He's
call
not a Jubin.
myself a Jubin. I don't call myself a Jubin. No.
Say it again,
do.
baby.
I think you are a Jubin. Your family is very Jubin-like, actually.
Well, most Cubans are a lot like the Jewish community culturally. That's true. But what's going on with the baseballs back there?
Well, this is a baseball from Ichiro that was given when he got into the Hall of Fame, which is pretty cool. And that's a baseball that Ichiro used to practice when he got into the Hall of Fame. He still did a workout that day. And this is a baseball from a documentary called Who Killed the Montreal Expos, which is on Netflix, that was sent to me by Netflix. And that's the hat as well.
You were exonerated in that documentary. I have not yet watched it. Netflix, Who Killed the Expos? It's out on Netflix now. You were pretty much exonerated there, were you not?
I got to tell you, I just got a text before we got on the air from someone who I haven't spoken to since 1999. The former owner of the Expos was a man named Claude Brochu, who is also in the documentary. And I haven't spoken to him since the transaction. And he just texted wondering whether I would talk to him about a book that he's trying to write about the Expos. So I think the Expos are having a moment here where people are trying to figure out how to change the narrative around who's to blame. But exonerated, to be exonerated, you have to be charged with something. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was exonerated.
Jeremy just whispered through his beard, you can call it an expose.
That's really good.
Get him out of here, baby.
That is a penalty if there ever was one.
Is it? Okay.
I need more cowbell, baby, in the penalty box.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes. Fork came out of your mouth.
You got convinced to get him in the penalty box there, Dan.
The LeBron story on ESPN.com. Did you have any takeaways from that, David?
Yeah, you get what you deserve. When you're an executive and you bring in someone like LeBron James, and I'd love to hear about your conversations with Pat Riley, the reality of the hurt that he felt when he left. What is the reality if he had stayed? How would that have ended? It never ends well. And right now, forget the fighting that's going on with the Buss family, because that's sort of a fugazi. You're getting distracted by it. It's the reality of how do you deal with an oversized ego when there's no more receipts to be gotten. LeBron's not a good basketball player anymore. He's not a winning basketball player.
That's not true. That's not true.
Come on, baby.
That's not
You
true.
haven't been watching, baby. I can tell.
True.
Gentlemen, the Lakers would have been better off to not have the money that they're paying to LeBron go to LeBron, for them to have reallocated it. You can't disagree.
You would have traded LeBron if you ran the
I would not have
Lakers.
signed him to the extension. He's past his useful life given his number.
I mean,
that's
not
his
true,
contract
David.
is not marked to market.
He's statistically still one of the best players in the league, David.
Listen, there's a bunch of schnooks who can put up 25 a game right now in this league. That is not
I don't know
what
too
I'm
many
talking
schnooks
about.
that could put up 25 in the league right now.
As a team, I would argue that if you're going to go with Luka, then the way you should have done it was by building a team of players who can complement what Luka does. LeBron's not one of them. The Lakers are telling you that, basically, that all of his baggage is not worth it anymore, but they're stuck. So that's their problem.
LeBron, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 51% field goals. Not a good player.
That's crazy.
Come
what
on,
you're
David.
saying.
He's not
It's
a top
crazy.
50 NBA player right now.
Come on, baby.
I mean, what are you doing, David?
I will name. You can't name 50 players who you'd rather have on your team. I'm talking about today's LeBron. Please do not misunderstand.
Those are numbers I just gave. It's today.
Okay. But there's a bunch of guys who are 14 points, 8 rebounds, and I'd rather have them on my team than LeBron.
Let me play for you an impersonation. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, they're promoting the movie The Rip that is based in Miami on Netflix. And it's just cops, dirty cops infiltrate a home that's got a lot of cash in it, and then the subsequent chaos that happens. I've seen Ben Affleck and Matt Damon all over the place promoting this. And on a podcast called Project Big Screen, Ben Affleck does an impersonation of Billy Bob Thornton. Let's hear that and see if David likes this as an impersonation.
And I remember Billy, this was, I guess the Oscars happened after the movie, but before Armageddon came out, I saw him at the premiere, and Billy won the Oscar for Sling Blade.
Yeah.
And so we went after that, and he was like, hey, I saw you got that, you won that Oscar, didn't you? I was like, yeah, I mean, so what, they give you like half an Oscar? It was like you only wrote half the picture, right? That's what I mean, no offense.
Got the teeth down perfectly.
Oh my God.
He doesn't do that a lot.
He's one of the funniest guys.
One of the funniest people.
I'll like give you half an Oscar for that. That's nice. That's good. That's like a kid's Oscar, right? You get a piece of it. Participation Oscar, is that what you got?
You got to do the lip if you're going to do Sling Blade.
It's pretty good. It's pretty
You
good.
also should probably go medium brown.
That's quite a dye job, isn't
Zaz,
it?
you know about that Landman?
Yo, stop asking me about Landman.
Listen, I don't give a rip about the rip. I'm here to talk with the Oscar nominations. Speaking of Billy Bob Thornton, he's featured in my book, Cinephile, my interview with Billy Bob Thornton. I like the way you talk, fried chicken and taters. Ethan Hawke gets his first ever nomination for Best Actor for Blue Moon. That's fantastic news. Ethan Hawke's one of my favorite actors. Interviewed him years ago at Sundance. He's also in my book, Cinephile. Props to Sinners, obviously, 16 nominations. One battle after another, 13 nominations. And the voice of Hind Rajab, Palestinian film up for Best International Feature Film. And it was just an accent, terrific Iranian film out of France. Great day for the Oscar nominations. Thrilled for all those nods. Sorry to interrupt, Samson. Love a good Claude Brochu reference, but just had to talk Oscars.
Well, I don't know why where did you come from? But yes, the Oscar nominations were happening as I was doing Nothing Personal this morning, and Coca kept saying, why are you not looking at the camera? It's because I was watching the nominations, which I watch every year, always with my daughter, by the way. Not I'm going to make this sad, and I don't mean to be, so that's upsetting. But what I will say is people should be thrilled to watch the Oscars. Big-time movies, Sinners, one battle after another, F1. It's not just about small artsy movies that you should all see, like Hamnet, Marty Supreme, and of course Sentimental Value, which is my personal favorite, Adnan. It's a perfect year with a perfect host, March 15th on ABC. And let me tell you, I'm going to be there, Adnan.
Nice.
I decided
Wait,
that...
Dave, hang on a second. I was about to ask you, is Metal Arc going to reunite what we did
No.
2 years ago? We had great reviews. Dan knows this. Should have brought us back next year. I was going to ask you right now, publicly say, David, can we reunite? And you're telling me, no, you're going to the red carpet.
No, I didn't say I'm going to the red carpet. I am going to find a way. I want to be in California.
I want to do the show again with you guys. Is it on Selection Sunday? I want to combine the
March
two.
15th. We need to do this again. This has to happen.
This could be the best year for Oscars of all time, Adnan, because the movies have such great commercial appeal. And Sinners, I just don't love that Sinners broke the record, to be honest, because it will go down in history now as the most nominated movie ever. And I loved Sinners. Sure. It's an unbelievable piece of cinema. But is it the number one? Right. Should it be always known as that? I wanted it to come in at 13 to 15. Right around there. But what happened is it got 2 extra nominations, supporting actor and supporting actress.
Yeah.
And that brought it over the top. And, good for them.
Yeah, to your point, I don't want it to be viewed as like Casablanca or Lawrence of Arabia, but 16 nominations is incredible. I had it number 9 of my top 10 films of the year. Wunmi Musaka was nominated for the Actors Award, so I wasn't surprised by her for supporting actress. But you're right, Delroy Lindo came out of nowhere for supporting actor. He did not get nominated for a Golden Globe. He did not get nominated for an Actor Award, which is formerly known as the SAGs. Thrilled for Delroy Lindo, by the way. Loved him in Malcolm X, Clockers. Roy's nodding his head right now. Defy Bloods, he should have been nominated for. So Lindo gets nominated, rides the Sinners wave. 16 nominations. The next question becomes, so it's the favorite, right? No. One battle after another is the favorite to win Best Picture.
Clear.
And I kind of feel your concern. Sinners might be one of those movies, 16 nominations. How many does it actually win? Its best chance is Coogler for screenplay. That's his best chance to win, but I don't think it's going to win Best Picture.
There's a chance it goes 1 for 16.
Yes.
And that's okay. It'll always be known as the most nominated film. I definitely wish that Paul Mescal was nominated as supporting actor. Yeah. I'm not upset that Wicked for Good got shut out.
Yes.
Forget it. It was
Thank God.
terrible. It's just a waste. So enough of that. I was thrilled for Penny Lane getting nominated for Best Actress, Kate Hudson, in a little scene but amazing movie called Song Sung Blue with some Neil Diamond in there. Totally different movie than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I missed It Was Just an Accident being a Best Picture. I'd like it to have gotten a nod there
100%.
because it's well worth it. And Ethan Hawke.
Yes,
If
Blue
there's
Moon.
one movie for people to see, well, there's so many, but go see Blue Moon. I don't know why people aren't seeing it. It is an acting tour de force by Ethan Hawke.
Who let Adnan in?
Can somebody tell me what the hell Hamnet is, baby?
Hamnet is unbelievable, and David's right. That's one of the biggest snubs of the day. Is that
Everybody
Paul
keeps
Mescal
saying it's
playing William
unbelievable.
Shakespeare.
What is it?
Okay,
It is
it's
about
William
Shakespeare and
Shakespeare, Paul
their
Mescal playing
child.
William Shakespeare, and
It's
what
a
happens when
typo.
childbirth.
It's supposed
Is
to
it
say
Hamlet?
Hamlet.
No,
It's a
no,
typo.
no.
Is it
It's
Hamlet?
Yeah,
it's
I've
about
seen
the
Hamlet.
creation of Hamlet, but it is pronounced Hamnet. It is correct. Trust
It's
me, you gotta
about
see the film,
Hamlet?
though, Tony.
It's a net
Tony,
filled
Tony,
with
it's
ham.
about the creation of Hamlet, but it's
saying it
called
wrong.
Hamnet. I
That
don't want to
film with
spoil
Ham
it then.
sounds great.
Baby, I'm not going to watch it.
Tony,
You should watch it, Tony, because it will lead to greater understanding of
Hamlet?
pain.
such
No,
range, Tony. Sometimes you put the baby at the end of the sentence. Sometimes you put the baby
You
at
can't
the
tell me
beginning.
where to put my baby,
So
baby.
no, let's
Keep us on our
let's
toes.
see if movie aficionados Adnan Virk or David Sampson know the impersonation you're doing. Go ahead and do your impersonation for them.
Cock of the walk, baby.
No idea. David? I have no idea.
Did you say I'm talking the walk, baby?
The cock of the walk, baby.
Oh, Cock of the Walk.
Adnan, baby. Bruce Dickinson.
Oh, is that from Swingers? Is that Vince Vaughn in Swingers?
It's a Stewie winner for the best fake. I swear to God, this is great.
It's
Baby.
Christopher Walken in
I put my pants on
the
one leg
cowbell.
at a time, just like
It's-
you, baby.
Oh, my God.
But when I do, I make gold-plated records.
You know, once I see Walken's face and I hear Tony's voice, and it's pretty good. I got to be honest.
Thank
It's
you, baby.
not. It's terrible.
so bad,
It's
Adnan. What is wrong with
terrible.
you?
It is really bad. Tony, the face Tony made, Adnan, when you said "bang bang," a 1-2 punch of Casablanca and Lawrence of Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia, my God.
Casablanca, 1,000 years ago.
movies.
That's one of the great films. Gets like fine wine, gets better with age.
Watch a new movie.
I might be legitimately cracking up because I find this so funny and it's so bad. It's like
There is
it's
no better
side-splitting.
impersonator in your universe than Chris Cody, and I don't think that there's a close second.
Adnan, do you have any other Oscar thoughts? Because I do want to do that again this year. I think it'd be funny. Our Selection Sunday, is it March Madness and the Oscars on the same day? Because I do think it'd be funny if we just merged the two and did a live stream off of the two things at the same time.
So wait, David and I are going to be talking about Song Sung Blue and then Loyola Marymount? That's what
That's
we're
right.
going to do?
That's right. That's right. I think it'd be funny to combine the two things. I want to do this. Is there a chance that we do this? David, are you going to insist that you be on the red carpet? If we put together a live stream again of the Oscars, can we convince you guys to host the Oscar show again down here? I don't want to miss a chance to do this again.
I'm in.
If you promise me that I can wear a tuxedo and that you will attend with Valerie,
Yes.
then I will consider being in Miami instead of Los Angeles.
I'll add one more caveat, and Dan, you got to bring your popcorn again.
Yes, it's good popcorn.
Great popcorn,
can,
baby.
Can you guys tell me what other thoughts you have? Because I know you guys are dying to talk Oscars. Yeah. Where are the places that you agree and where are the places that you two disagree?
I want to talk further about Paul Thomas Anderson, Dan. This guy's an 11-time Oscar nominee. He's made some of the best films, and all of us love these movies. Boogie Nights, Magnolia, Phantom Thread, There Will Be Blood, The Master. 11-time Oscar nominee. He's never won an Oscar, and he could go on a run this year like Sean Baker did with Honora. He's up for Best Adapted Screenplay. He's up for Best Director, and as I said, I think the film's going to win for Best Picture. A film that David didn't mention, which I loved, is called Marty Supreme. Timothée Chalamet, at 30 years of age, I believe, is the favorite right now to win, ahead of Leonardo DiCaprio. It's from Josh Safdie. crafty. And much as David was praising the fact we've got a great balance of commercial pictures and more independent films, this is a real mishmash. It's an indie movie. It's from A24, which is, of course, renowned for independent films, but it's got a $60 to $70 million budget. So they put a lot of money into this thing, and Chalamet's been everywhere trying to promote it on social media, etc., and it's been vindicated because it's a great film. 2 hours and 25 minutes. It's exhilaratingly funny. A friend of mine said to me, wait, it's about a ping pong player in the 1950s? I said, no, it's not about that. It's tangentially about that. It's really a film about ambition and being cocky and doing what it takes to win. And it kind of merges Chalamet's real-life persona, which at times can be irritating, but also charming. And he can be antagonistic, but he's also a remarkably talented guy. I hope everyone goes and enjoys Marty Supreme. Great showing today. Up for picture, director, screenplay, and, of course, Timmy.
His biggest challenger could actually be Wagner Moura from The Secret Agent in that category.
Golden Globe win, yeah.
So it is the first Brazilian actor to be nominated. We also had the first Irish actress to be nominated in a movie called Hamnet, Tony.
Jesse Buckley.
Now, that's a movie, Adnan, that I haven't seen because I was cautioned by someone who I paid to listen to my problems who said, hold off on seeing that at the moment because it happens to be of a subject that I may not want to be a part of. However, that said, when there is a potential Best Actress winner, a Best Picture candidate, there is no chance that I won't see the movie prior to March 15th. So what I'm doing is strategically figuring out under what scenario to watch it.
Well, despite the fact Tony's apprehension, thinking it's a typo, it's a really powerful film. I will agree with that person that it's going to be an emotional journey for you, especially with what you're going through. But I will say this, sentimental value, you found to be a heartwarming film also because of what you're going through right now. So I think Hamnet will be a film that will be justly rewarded by you. And listen, it's a really powerful film. I had it number 4 in my top 10. I've got Buckley winning Best Actress right now, deservedly so. It's a really phenomenal performance. But yes, bring the tissues. It's a real weepy.
One of the highly nominated films is something that you all should see. And Tony, I'm talking directly to you. Do you have any dysfunction anywhere in your family, or do you have a perfect family?
Of course, baby.
Okay, then, baby, Sentimental Value puts the dis in dysfunction, and it is a movie about a father and daughters. It's a movie about making memories as a family and what those memories do as life continues on. Can you make up for mistakes that you made in your younger years? What does it mean to be a good father when you choose work over family or family over work? It's called Sentimental Value. 4 actors got nominated, the 4 principal actors in the movie, and Best Picture, Best Director, Best International Feature. Did it not get Best Picture? Or did it?
It's up for Best Picture, yeah. And
so
Best International Feature.
Basically, every possible nomination. It's the best movie I've seen so far. Caveat, I haven't watched Hamnet or Marty Supreme yet, but those are the only 2 left. But Sentimental Value, Tony, please.
Also, the movie's called Sentimental Value. Okay, I hadn't heard of it. I was still waiting for the Hamnet description.
No, listen,
which nobody can tell me about, by the way.
Okay, Tony, for Mike Ryan and Dana, for everybody, and Zaslow, before we lose the entire audience, everyone's seen Weapons. I've heard your review of it. Excellent film, right? Amy Madigan gets nominated for Best Supporting Actress. That's great news. She's absolutely brilliant in the film. I know David thinks maybe she was an alien. I'm more with Mike and Zaslow that she was a witch. Regardless, it's a hell of a performance. She's got a puncher's chance at maybe pulling off an upset, maybe a career achievement type Oscar win. Great news for Amy Madigan and Weapons. Genre films not always represented. Good to see her get nominated.
I was disappointed, Mike, that you did not respond to my text when I sent you an article. I know you were busy crying, but I sent you an article that there are many people who believe that Gladys is an alien, not just me, and you conveniently decided not to respond.
Because she's a witch. That's why.
It's insane.
What is happening?
It's a funny take by David. I like the fact he's looking for vindication on this one. She's a witch. Come on.
There's an entire piece about how she's likely an alien.
What?
Well, you can
Which
trust
I had
the
not
internet.
seen.
If there's a piece on the internet, I think now is the time to just trust that there's
a YouTube
truth
hole
on the internet.
right.
Before we get to David's movie review of the week, I'd like Adnan's top 10 there. He said he's got a top 10. So number 10, let's get the fanfare ready. Let's bang through these as fast as possible. Number 10.
I really don't think you care, Dan, but I'm going to go ahead and indulge you. A Little Prayer, David Strathairn movie about a Southern family enduring a lot of tumult. That's number 10. Number 9, thank you, 16-time Oscar nominee, Sinners. Number 8, first ever Best Actor nomination for one of my favorite actors, Ethan Hawke, stars in Richard Linklater's Blue Moon. Completely snubbed by the Oscars, but I loved it. George Clooney, Adam Sandler, a movie star undergoing his own personal torment. Number 7 is Jay Kelly on Netflix. Number 6, all hail Paul Thomas Anderson, one battle after another. Number 5, Jonathan Majors gave the best performance of his life, but it was 2 years ago, and after that endured domestic violence allegations, so nobody saw this film, but it's brilliant. It's called Magazine Dreams. Number 4 is Hamnet, not Hamlet, Hamnet. Number 3, Josh Safdie, Timothée Chalamet, Marty Supreme. Number 2, the Persian filmmaker Jafar Panahi, who went to prison for his ideals and speaking out against the Iranian government. Therefore, Iran could not submit this film. It's submitted from France, but it's up for Best International Feature Film. Panahi's up for Best Screenplay. It was just an accident. And number 1, Roll Your Eyes in Unison. It's not a film. It's a series. It's on Apple TV Plus, and it's about the greatest director of all time. 5-part series, 4.5 hours. It's called Mr. Scorsese.
Oh, my God. My God, that's offensive. That's offensive.
Ruins the whole list.
Oh, you can't do that. Is that an Emmy behind you?
It is. My Emmy Award for 2 years ago.
And your book.
And my book's in a file. Thank you, Cody. Available wherever books are sold. David wanted to hear the full list. Number 1 is Mr. Scorsese. Number 2 is just an accident. Number 3 is Marty Supreme. Number 4 is Hamnet. Number 5, Magazine Dreams. Number 6 is One Battle After Another. Number 7 is Jay Kelly. Number 8 is Blue Moon. Number 9 is...
Yeah, get him out of here. When you say wherever books are sold, is because you're asking wherever it is that books are sold? Is that like you don't know anymore where books are sold?
Amazon.com, Mango Publishing, wherever Greg Cody sells his books. By the way, OLI, just for Mike Ryan, The Perfect Neighbor, which is up for Best Documentary, The Naked Gun, and Song Sung Blue. Kate Hudson, Oscar nominated.
Naked Gun was great.
It was good. I liked the
It was
Naked
great.
Gun. I didn't think that should be made. I thought they should have stopped making them.
Oh,
but-
and they did great. Man.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
good. I did like it. Before we get you out of here, David, what are you reviewing for us this week?
I wanted to have a conversation, but it's too late about heated rivalry. I'm in the middle.
It's never too late.
I'm in on that. I watched
finished
it.
all of it, and I got to tell you, it was fine. But my girlfriend is obsessed. My daughter's obsessed. I've never seen a level of obsession for a series like I'm seeing for Heated Rivalry. Like watching every series. They've watched every episode thrice. They're getting the books and reading it. It is all over social media. It's fine. 2 players fall in love, whatever. That's like a Tuesday in Major League Baseball. But what a great love it is. So I'm forced for Valentine's Day.
No, it's 2 hockey players who are male who fall in love with each other, correct?
That's Tuesday in Major League Baseball.
It's the gay hockey show. Yeah, that's right.
It's literally a Tuesday, but I am forced for this Valentine's Day that I've got to go to the cottage. So I'm going to do it.
That show made me want to do squats.
Oh, I've saved all sorts of workouts.
I mean, I'm telling you, the asses on those guys.
Holy
it
hell.
is insane.
The haunches.
Are we talking about Hamnet?
Yeah.
See you guys later. Thank you. Let's put together that Oscar show, combine it with March Madness Selection Sunday, and see what's the mess that we can make on that day. Thank
Scorsese.
you.
March
Gentlemen,
15th.
That's
See you
so
guys.
wrong
Sad,
what he
man.
did there with his Scorsese sickness. It's just he's troubled. How did he get up on the show? Like what? Where did Adnan come from? Why do I not have any control over what's happening around here? How does he bomb David Sampson's segment when I'm not sure how much David Sampson likes Adnan or Adnan likes David Sampson? How did any of that happen?
Tuesday in Major League Baseball.
Breaking news.
Journalism is dead.
But journalism, as we know it, as you know it, what you wanted to do when you were a little kid, okay? It has changed. It has. It's changed, okay? You're not wrong. Stephen A. Smith is not wrong. You have to adapt sometimes, okay? Because the game has changed, your priorities have shifted. No one cares how someone goes and gets the news that they get, as long as the news is accurate, as long as it's coming from a credible place. If it's Woj, if it's Adam Schefter, if it's you, if it's Diana Rossini, if it's Shams, nobody cares. You might care. Greg Cody might care. Stephen A. Smith might care. But you know what? You all sold out. Every single one of you, okay? Stephen A. Smith jumped inside the circus tent. I don't blame him. Why'd he do it? Because he had to do it. Because the game has changed. You jumped inside the circus tent. You did. You did so with me. Think about that. With me and with Greg Cody every Tuesday, okay? And so you have ditched journalism a long, long time ago because why? Survival of the fittest, Dan. You have to change with the times. You have to roll with the changing environment, roll with the changing industry, and that's what you decided to do. That's what Stephen A. decided to do. And for Woj, for guys like him, the game has changed slightly, where he went out and he sought reports, and he wanted to be the reporter. And you know what? If now he has morphed into a mouthpiece for the Blazers, I'm okay with it. I am good with it. I don't care.
Survival of the fattest.
Everyone, exactly. Everyone is selling out to make a buck.
What a terrible timing.
It
by
was
you.
great.
Like that joke.
Hey, just give it up. You all want to be journalists. You're not journalists anymore. None of you. Not a one of you. Sorry.
You didn't even hear the joke. You
I
said
did. Survival of the fattest. It was great.
It just could have been done after Stugotz stopped talking, Dan.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Shoehorn that
But I'm
in.
okay. I'm okay
You're
with
splitting
it.
hairs.
Right.
Okay.
You adapt, you roll with things, man. That's it. You know, Dan, you started off, you know, if you're a driver, you drove a yellow cab and you were loyal to the yellow cab. You know what? But the game has changed to Uber, to Lyft, to private driving. And you know what? You have to ditch the yellow cab and you have to drive an Uber. Why? Because you'll make more money. Why? Because more people are taking Uber than the dirty yellow cabs. That's why. That's what you do. No one cares about journalism. You know what they care about? Laughing, being entertained. And you do a great job of that. And Stephen A. Smith does a great job of that. No one cares about journalism. People care about smiling. That's it.
You know, this morning I found myself while I was driving Claire to school. I told her, you know, you ask a lot of questions. You should be a journalist. And now here in this conversation, I just, you know what? Don't be a journalist. Like,
exactly.
Do something else.
It's over.
Sad.
You're going to let Stugotz parent your daughter. You think that's a good idea?
You think journalism is a good occupation to choose now?
No, I would not. Listen, not only is it not a good occupation to choose, I have looked around Miami and realized we're the only ones providing the jobs we're presently providing. I heard local TV reporters are making $45,000 a year.
Huh.
I couldn't believe that's how bad local television is struggling, that's the place that has arrived. And I told Chris Cody not to get into this business at all because it's terrible.
But Stephen A. Smith is making more money than he's ever made in his entire life. He has more power. He has more of everything than he's ever had in his entire life. You want him to give that up because of journalism? Like, get out of here.
I believe you can do both. You're being very
How?
You're being very absolute about this. First of all, he does. He
Right.
does reporting, does journalism. He is very credible. When he gives information, it's not like Skip Bayless giving information. There is a difference. Skip Bayless also allegedly a journalist, but he's been contaminated by this thing and distorted by it in ways that are even more poisonous because he doesn't do any reporting anymore. Like, he doesn't talk to people in a way that's informed. Stephen A. actually goes to things, has relationships, and certainly when he's talking about basketball, if Stephen A. gives you information that's not opinion, you trust that it's informed.
No doubt. But every time he does that show, Dan, every single episode, his journalistic integrity, it shreds away. Little by little, piece by piece, it just does. He is doing a debate show debating the most ridiculous topics in the history of sports. Like, it has to affect your credibility.
Stugotz, it has happened. So we have a situation with this Seahawks-Rams game where you've got the number one scoring offense against the number one scoring defense, and usually defense wins that game, 7-1 all time when you have that kind of matchup. The all-time stats between the Seahawks and the Rams, the Seahawks are 29-28 against the Rams all-time. They've scored 1,223 points. The Rams have scored 1,222 points. This feels like it's for the championship to me. I don't know how that feels to you. The Patriots have had a really easy schedule, and it's rare for a team like the Patriots to just cascade through everything and win the championship their first time through this. So I know I've doubted them all season, and they're a 5.5-point favorite on the road because they've gotten very fortunate here. Against the Broncos because Stidham is starting. But that's the game I'm interested in. I'm just not interested in the other one.
The part that sucks is that the game that it was actually during our holiday party, that Thursday night game between the Rams and the Seahawks was probably the best game of the year on a back-and-forth basis. Like, how do you top that game? The last time we saw these two teams play, it was the best game we've seen in a really long time. And, like, all right, do it again. Right?
Well,
It's
the
tough.
two times they've played, right? The Seahawks, the first time they played the Rams, they had a -4 turnover differential and was still trying to kick a 61-yard field goal at the end to win the game, not even tie it, because they somehow overcame that. And then the last time they played, outside of that weird Broncos-Giants game earlier this season that had all that chaos in the fourth quarter and the game that the Titans won against the Cardinals, the weirdest game I saw this season was the ending to Seahawks-Rams the last time they played. But I believe that most of the people listening to this are going to take the Rams in that game just because they don't trust Sam Darnold.
Yep.
They think Sam Darnold is gonna Sam Darnold even with the best defense in the league. Tony, you're making a face there. You're willing to trust Sam Darnold.
I'm willing to trust Mike McDonald. I'm willing to trust the defense because Sam Darnold had the game that we all thought he would have against the Rams, and they were 61 yards away from winning the game. Right out on a field goal. Like this, you've seen the worst possibility. He throws 4 interceptions that are terrible. They have 5 turnovers in the game, and then all of a sudden you look and say, all right, 61 yards.
But I don't understand how the Rams lost to them last time. Like there were 5 minutes left in that game. Like it was improbable. They were all look. I could also make the argument that both Packers-Bears games of the last month were among the weirdest of the comebacks. But the Seahawks winning that second game against the Rams was damn near inexplicable. And when it comes to distrust for Sam Darnold, you guys remember the radio call last year. Minnesota went 14-3. They won all their one-score games, and they get to the playoffs, and Sam Darnold in a way that had the broadcasters really frustrated.
He's holding it too long. Just run. Throw it, man.
That was the pissed-off announcer talking about Sam Darnold with obvious frustration.
He's holding it too long. Just run. Throw it, man.
That was both of them, actually. Just run.
He's holding it too long. Just run. Throw it, man.
That man comes from a very deep place in the loins.
He's holding it too long. Just run. Throw it, man.
Baby.
Let's welcome in another new sponsor here. We love new sponsors. We ask you to support the people who support us, and we've got a GOAT conversation that I want to continue from earlier in the show of worst coaches to win a championship. We were talking about Doc Rivers and the fact that Doc Rivers is now 18-25 with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Doc Rivers has some bad failure on his resume. It's not just the Game 7s, the collapses with 3-1 leads. He had an Orlando team with Anthony Hardaway. Now, Grant Hill was hurt on that team, but he had a team that never got out of the first round with Anthony Hardaway.
Are we doing the GOAT of bonehead coaches?
Not bonehead coaches, but the GOAT of coaches to win a championship who you still don't consider any good.
No. I got to scratch off Nathaniel Hackett.
So you're just doing bonehead coaches that didn't win a championship?
He worked the clock to set up a 64-yard field
We're talking
goal.
a GOAT conversation. We need to get the GOAT of bonehead coaches. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett, try to beat that.
You remember that guy?
I mean, Gene Chizik. I wanted to go GOAT of
Hugh
coaches
Jackson?
who won a championship and you still consider incompetent.
Larry Coker.
Barry Switzer.
Those are good
Man,
ones.
don't say Coker. Come on.
Ozzie Guillen. I mean,
That's what I had.
Larry Coker. I think Larry Coker had the best start to a coaching career there's ever been. I think he won his first 32 or 34 games, and then when he left Miami, wasn't allowed to coach anywhere else.
Right. Well, thankfully, you can't say that anymore. It's Cignetti.
This Hot Takes GOAT conversation is presented by Frank's Red Hot. Make every dish the greatest. Eat the GOAT.
Barry Switzer's pretty good.
It's a really good one.
When you mentioned Cignetti, have you come around on Cignetti, Tony? Have you? What is your feeling on Cignetti? Are you seem to have some bittersweet, troubled, conflicting feelings?
After proper time to really think about and reflect on the loss, I started thinking about Cignetti, and I started thinking about his timeline of where he's been and how he's gotten where he's gotten. And it's like, this guy's a great coach, and I like his style. I like how he's always looking at the camera. He's playing on the fourth rail. Google me. Like, that's probably one of the greatest.
What's the fourth rail, and why is he playing on it?
Fourth rail, yeah. He's breaking the fourth rail.
No, it's a wall.
Fourth wall.
Fourth wall.
It's the third rail.
Yeah.
This
is really funny considering the conversation we just had prior.
About the boneheads?
Yeah.
What is the fourth rail? I don't know what the fourth rail is.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes. Tremenda, Cagason.
Yeah.
There's a third rail.
Don't write it down.
And a fourth wall.
Don't write it down.
I'm sorry, Tony, you're going to have to leave. Sam Darnold with the Vikings versus the Rams last year in the playoffs. He lost 27-9, 9 sacks, 12 QB hits, 2 turnovers. Also, almost half of his interceptions this year have come against the Rams.
He said, Google me, and then he did it.
You got to go, baby.
Like,
did you not hear Tremenda Cagazón? I don't know what a fourth
No, I heard
rail,
it, baby.
I know, but I don't understand what that was as analysis.
it's complicated. Zaz has said 18 things that haven't made sense in 2 weeks. What are
Yo,
you
don't
talking
bring
about?
me into your business, all right? Don't mind your own business. Go in penalty box. Keep my name out of your mouth.
I just don't understand what he was even trying to say. He plays on the fourth rail.
It's bad when you confuse all of us.
It's a word salad of nothing, and I thought that he'd come around on Cignetti.
It's a shame. I wanted to hear the rest of his Cignetti point.
It is a shame, isn't it?
Now we'll never hear about it.
But he doesn't deserve for it to be heard when you say he plays on the fourth rail. Like, nobody understood what he was talking about. Like, it's just saying words for no reason.
Fourth rail was wild.
So funny.
Dude, we were so close. So close. So close to
That's ridiculous.
having a game, a national title game, in which people were questioning Kurt Cignetti's game plan and clock management and touting what a great call Mario Cristobal made. We were this close.
What do you think Tony meant?
Fourth wall,
right?
Third
Breaking
rail.
the fourth
Third
wall.
rail.
You
Like,
think
you're
if you
looking
had
at
him
the camera?
explain what the fourth wall is, he'd be able to properly put the words together?
I don't know what he's saying
Nah, it's
because
a wall. You break through
Cignetti
it.
doesn't play to the camera.
Yeah. Oh, what?
Cignetti's
Whoa.
he's just pissed off all the time.
No, he knows exactly where the cameras are. Are you kidding me? That's his thing. He's constantly looking at it. You didn't notice this about this?
He's just pissed off all the time.
He's always playing to the cam. The guy is such a ham. You know, when he said Google me, it wasn't about his record. It's because it's something that he does every morning. The guy loves himself.
He had that
of ham.
He had that Google me line locked and
He
loaded.
definitely rehearses his moves. Yep. And you know what? He's a champ.
Theater kid.
He's the freaking man. Man, how did that corner not bite on Malley underneath? It's like they knew where we were going with the ball.
I spent all
doing
day
the cheating
yesterday thinking about that fake punt, not fake punt, but the punt return that never materialized. I spent all day yesterday thinking about it.
All right, so for those of you who do not know, a play that Chris Felica has pointed out before the blocked punt that turned that game, Malachi Toney caught a ball at the 5-yard line, and because the punt was so good, the University of Miami was not able to execute a play that I don't believe I've ever seen executed on a punt. I've seen it tried on kickoffs before they changed all the kickoff rules, but I don't think I've seen, I can't come up with it from my memory, a play where you you field a punt and then make everyone, because Malachi Toney obviously draws a lot of attention, come to the right side of the field and then lateral it across the field by throwing it into your own end zone to a player for the Hurricanes who was wide open over there, unattended to. And a lot of people were sending me this over the last few days saying, look, Miami had set up, according to Chris Falica, I keep making him phallic for some reason. I always do that. Had set up what would have been a seismic, ballsy play call. Now, we're going to associate that game, I think, with Cignetti making the ballsy calls because the Hoosiers scored 2 touchdowns, one of them aided by several University of Miami penalties, the other one aided by 2 4th and 5s that they converted that Cignetti could have been forgiven for if he had not gone for them. And I thought it was kind of surprising that down in distance that he not only went for it, but chose to unleash his Heisman Trophy winner's legs for the first time on a design draw play. But you can't stop watching that play because of the almost. And the thing that I found curious in the coping of that is I really do feel like I can go to any football game that's played that is close and find 30 different plays that would have changed the outcome of a game if somebody had seen something. And for some reason, this one is the one that University of Miami fans can't stop talking about.
Because it's so extraordinary that they were trying to even attempt that kind of risky play. And on top of it, it's like, yeah, it was going to work. It's the what could have been that has captured me.
There were like 6 could have beens in that game. By the way, like it's kind of remarkable that Malachi Toney, most people when they have a design play like that and have the ability to throw, they'll force something bad.
Like how many times do you see the flea flicker who just about gets blown up
like
and the running back still tosses it back,
or a reversal wide receiver who forces a ball and it's
all the
nearly
time
picked off. Mally just like he had the presence of mind like, all right, it's not there. I have a split second to just tuck this down and not even look. And to the point that Chris was on the sideline. He's like, I think they had something cooking on that. It was kind of weird, but nobody that was in attendance thought, other than Chris, like, oh, that's a fake play. But there were 6 plays in this game, and 2 of them were mano-a-mano plays, back shoulder throws where you just tip your hat like, okay, that's football. Can your guy beat our guy? And they did that. But the rest of them were straight up balls and execution, and that was the book on Indiana. They execute and they take advantage of any mistake that you made. You mentioned the draw play by Mendoza. Corey Heatherman said postgame he knew that was the play call. He knew that was a play call. We were just late in getting that play call in, and the corner, the safety comes outside as opposed to inside. The punter booming that punt. Us not being able to maintain the block there. Obviously, the block punt. All this stuff, the procedural stuff, the operational stuff, it all worked in Indiana's favor. And I thought it was cliche. All right, we'll see. I see these guys on the field. Our guys are a lot bigger than yours. Now, a lot of that stuff played out. Miami effectively ran the ball. But the game was won by execution. And I'm just flabbergasted that everything that was said about Indiana was absolutely true. You cannot make a mistake against them. You will pay for it immediately.
The point I was making about the fourth rail was that Cignetti is such a good coach, right? And it just kind of seems that he came out of nowhere. And it's just like he got one job after another job, and then he got the Indiana job, which is historically one of the worst in college football. And it's like, I'm going to win. Google me. And everybody's like, look at this guy. He's kind of a joke. And then all of a sudden they started being good. All of a sudden they started winning. And then this season, they've just been the best coach team. It's like, how do you go in, completely change a program and a culture like that?
They didn't play that good a game, honestly. That is not his signature game in terms of the team not making mistakes and playing well. Like they did not play the normally clean game that they play.
Right, but the corner that made the interception Sharp, like that is a testament to film breakdown and coaching, because Malachi Toney was open underneath. You can hold that against Carson Beck. He took a shot, his head bounced off the field, but like usually the corner follows the underneath wide receiver, and that way you have a bigger hole to drop that pass into. And if you look at the film, like Marion is kind of open if it is a perfect pass, but it has to be that precise because the corner has Carson Beck read like a book. He's going his one read. This is a play call. I'm not going to follow Mally. I'll allow Mally these 20 yards underneath because I can go win a national championship right now. And And on top of that, he makes the catch too. Yeah. It's a hell of a team, dude.
To Tony's point, I've been thinking about this as well, through the latter part of the season. Cignetti's, 63 years old? How does that happen where you have a coach who becomes, like we're going to start talking about him alongside Kirby Smart, right, as best coaches in college football, but Kirby Smart is significantly younger. Like, how do you become one of the best coaches in college football out of nowhere and you're in your 60s?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe, his attitude, maybe he's always kind of had that, and at the lower ranks, that doesn't fly. It's kind of weird for a guy that stood that close to Nick Saban, that was responsible for some big-time recruiting acquisitions and wins, to have to go to a lower level and build himself back up. Very rare for the Saban staffs to do that. Very rare.
Are you still turning off the television when you see the remnants of the highlights from that game? I see all over our wallpaper city, I do see still national flippin' champions are postered. Like all the Indiana people have left. There's no longer a bunch of red in all of our streets. They have left the city, but they've left behind some wallpaper.
Yeah, honestly, I thought about taking a personal day this week because I was so sad, but doing the job has kind of made me, because of the performative aspects, come up and realize, yeah, it was a great season. I enjoyed putting together the badass plays. I'm really happy about it, but yeah, it's still pretty triggering, Dan. It's one thing if you get blown off the field and you run into that team. It's another thing entirely where you're damn, it was so hard to get there. They had to win 4 games essentially on the road, where you don't have the home field advantage. To do that at College Station, we're talking about cream of the crop programs that Miami had to go through. It's so hard, and everybody was saying all right, we'll just get them next year. Dude, there's 150 teams in Division I college football. There's about 25 that can talk themselves into, we legitimately have a title chance here. It is hard. You're not going to have the overwhelming talent advantages that the teams of the past did. There is talent spread evenly throughout. You just have to get as many lottery tickets as you can. Hopefully we make the college football playoff and we can talk ourselves into we get in the tournament, we got a shot. But it is hard to get back here. I didn't want to take it for granted whatsoever because there's no guarantee.
It's not just that it's hard to get back there. It's hard to get into a position where you're playing the championship game and you're the team with more pros.
Yeah.
Where you obviously have first-round pass rushers that can wreck any other team's game plan because you've got 2 first-round edge rushers. That's the first time Miami has ever had 2 first-round edge rushers. They've had some decent pass rushers, but they usually come through the middle. They don't have the great guys on the edges. They had 2 of them this year. In the history of the program, you've got Calais Campbell, you've got Rusty Medeiros, you've got Greg Mark. You don't have 2 first-round pass rushers on the edges.
The game was right there. Miami lost to what is going to be talked about when you see top 10 lists for the rest of time, greatest college football champions. 16-0 Indiana will be on those lists. And Miami had an opportunity with a minute left in that game to beat them, having a miraculous season, and it came down to execution. We all thought Miami's best would beat Indiana's best. I think that one game sample kind of proved that. And Miami just didn't quite meet the moment. They didn't quite play the game that was good enough to win. I think the Bill Connolly win probability measurement was 14% for Indiana. They didn't.
Based on the stats from once you check out the stats after the game, the win probability of Indiana, given that they only had 2 touchdown drives, the win probability was 14% based on all of the metrics after you consume them when the game's been played.
Yeah, my offense versus your defense versus my offense. Miami outplayed Indiana in that regard. But it was execution and special teams, and that's what everybody said you got to watch out for Indiana on, and they proved it.
And also, Roy said the thing, baby.
I'll
never forgive him, baby.
Yeah. There's that as well. I wanted to ask you guys something from a couple of the different press conferences that there were yesterday when people start taking inventory and doing the autopsy on their NFL seasons. Put the Buffalo press conference off to the side for a second. John Lynch of the 49ers. It's still strange to me to see John Lynch running the 49ers. I don't think a lot of people listening to this know that John Lynch threw the first pitch in Florida Marlins history. He was the single-A pitcher who threw the very first pitch in organizational history, and now he runs the 49ers. Not only does he say that they're going to look into whether or not their players get injured more than any other team in the league because they practice next to a power plant. So now you've got a GM of the league, even though scientists have said, look, there's not a link between these things. Basically, what you've got is a GM in the league saying, I fear that my players are contaminated with radioactivity. That's not a normal thing that you get in a post-season press
Okay, not
conference.
radioactivity, EMF frequencies, but that's different.
And not a power plant. I misspoke. It's an electrical substation. Whatever. No one knows what to call those things.
Funnier my way to have them contaminated by radioactivity.
Yeah.
But when you talk about radioactivity in their locker room, they did also have that with the Ayuk situation. And this is the part that I wanted to get to with you guys, because the quote from Shanahan was kind of shocking, given that you had Ayuk. He had $27 million in guarantees in a contract that they were kind of skittish about giving to him, but they gave him the contract. And then Ayuk stopped showing up when he was injured. And this is the quote from Shanahan. Quote, I'd say it officially stopped for me when the last time I tried to get a hold of him and couldn't, and then tried a couple more times and still couldn't. And then that matched everyone else that was trying to get a hold of him to come in. And eventually there's not much of an explanation because it's really hard for us and anyone else to understand. And that's why it's something I've never seen in 22 years of coaching. It's unfortunate and it's confusing because it's confusing for all of us, but it eventually becomes, it is what it is. A guy's under contract. The money's guaranteed. They never take away your guarantees. They're guaranteed. They're taking away his guarantees because he just stopped showing up. How do you stop showing up if it risks millions of dollars when you don't actually have to go in and do the work? You just have to get perfect attendance. Like, you don't even have to get perfect attendance. You just have to return the calls of the people in charge.
You just have to not violate the terms of your contract.
Just show up.
Yeah.
Just literally show up.
Yeah.
You could do whatever you want. You could play
Drive
whatever.
to the facility and just sit there. Yeah, but have you guys ever heard of such a thing? And incidentally, I can't help but do this. It's not fair. I know we do this doctor diagnosis when we're not doctors. But anytime I'm confronted in that sport with something that doesn't make sense to me, like I was talking about this a lot on the end of Antonio Brown's career when he plays for 3 teams in whatever it is, 6 months, and you're like, what's happening there? That's one of the best receivers you've ever seen. What's the craziness of this behavior where I don't see any precedent for it? And it can be addicted to social media, but anytime something this strange happens that I can't explain, I wonder, fairly or unfairly, hey, what's going on with this person's head? Like, what did football help do to this person's head?
Power plant, dude.
Substation.
Have we not heard at all from Brandon Ayuk's agent? Like, has the agent fired him? Normally, when something similar to this is going on, we will hear from the agent.
You guys remember the summer of Ayuk? Like, we talked about this guy nonstop for 2 months, and he's fallen off the face of the earth.
Is it something that's unfair for me to do, to wonder whenever I see erratic football behavior from a player that I simply can't explain, that I have never seen, that Kyle Shanahan is telling you? I haven't seen this in 22 years of coaching where someone doesn't show up for his guarantees when all he's got to do is show up for work. He doesn't have to exercise. He doesn't have to rehab. He just has to show up at the facility.
What's he mad about?
I don't know, because he's not. His family members have spoken. Look, he was wounded that they didn't throw more to him at the end of last season. He was wounded that he's not their number one receiver as a priority, even though it doesn't matter who plays for that team. That team wins 11, 12 games, even if everybody is injured. I don't think it's a logic leap that's fair for me to make, but I can't help but keep making it when confronted with behavior I've never seen before. And I only do it in that sport. I don't do it in hockey where there are plenty of collisions and concussions. I don't do it with any other sport. It's only that sport where I'm like, oh, do we not yet know where it regards brain chemistry, how damaging some of this is? Because the Antonio Brown behavior started immediately after Vontaze Burfict hit him. Like, all of that behavior started when he was incapacitated on the field by a dirty hit by Vontaze Burfict, who was trying to make that hit, who was trying to purposely injure him, and not only did, evidently also derailed Antonio Brown's entire life.
But you have like a point. You have a genesis of where the thing started with Antonio Brown. You look at Brandon Ayuk, it's like he tore his, a bunch of ligaments in his knee, but like that has nothing really to do with his head, right? So it's like, is it the rehab and how grueling it is to come back? Maybe that kind of.
Well, that's why Dan's asking whether or not it's even fair to ask that question.
Can you ever text Pablo and tell him what to do? Can you? I need a deep dive on this one. I'm just talking about the power plant.
I looked into it. I spoke to Peter Cohen.
Oh, I would be totally here for Tony finds out.
You can go find it on my YouTube channel at Today Tony.
I don't tell Pablo anything about what to do. No, I don't.
Look at this power plant. I mean,
it burns down the collagen in your bones is what the conversation is.
But hasn't that substation been there since the 80s? Like,
yes.
Haven't they won?
Yeah, but they haven't been there since the 80s.
Okay, but they've had multiple teams practicing next to it without this kind of injury.
Agreed.
Injuries. They've been hurt for 8 years, Dano.
Agreed, but from the 80s to now, that substation has increased like a millionfold of output because, back in the day we weren't really using that stuff, and
you know
now
about that
everything
wattage?
is being used.
It's my gimmick.
I remember having the argument with Stugotz when Bill Parcells was running the Dolphins and they went 11-5 with Pennington getting second in the MVP voting, and they had an injury-free practically year. And Stugotz is saying, yeah, Parcells can do that. I'm like, Kenny, you think Parcells can come in and make sure his guys don't get injured?
Nobody turns an ankle.
So Sirianni, the last few years before this recent spate, the Eagles were the healthiest team in the league. What are they doing? They're doing something to keep their players healthy. I remember Chip Kelly, when they hired him, he had protein shakes and, he was measuring their hearts with, Apple Watches, and he was ahead of the game. You guys believe that there's a way to either prevent injuries in football with your training staff being appreciably better than someone else's training staff?
How much would that guy get paid who can keep your team from getting hurt all year?
Have you considered God?
Well, they are in that godless city of San Francisco.
Finally, somebody said it, baby.
I did enjoy the idiocy of Tom Segura, coming on with us the other day and saying he was at a table with a bunch of football players who were talking about how they got injured, and then he started talking about it in high school. He hurt his tailbone, and he's like looking at one of the Bosas who are like. It's such a flabbergasting lack of self-awareness to get into that conversation. It's like talking to war veterans when you got into a fight one time in your 6th grade cafeteria about the perils of conflict.
The crucible of life. Guess who's not there with me? Boy.
I just can't believe that any human being, never mind Tom Segura, that any human being would sit at a table with 3 football players who are talking about injuries. Like, do you guys do any assessment? Valerie does this all the time, and I've become numb to it over the years, okay? The amount of stoppages in football for an injury are so commonplace that now my wife has me self-conscious because every time she walks past the television, someone's on the field hurt, and she doesn't understand why we're still doing any of this, right? She's watching it, and she's like, let me guess, someone's hurt again? Because they're carrying people off every couple of plays, and it's just the most normal thing in the world. None of us take any inventory, right? As they play an extra game, and the Rams and the Seahawks and the Patriots and the Broncos are all some form of broken by the end of this season. None of us are taking any actual inventory of how any of those bodies feel at this point in a season, correct?
I'm taking inventory that during the playoffs we have to sit and go to a commercial break as opposed to going over to Buffalo for another game that's in the red zone.
Yeah. I'm taking inventory of it when I have to sit down and watch Jared Stidham, no doubt.
Took inventory when Marvin Mims got the microphone.
That was crazy.
I was like, oh!
Yeah, up his butt, man. That was
It was
crazy.
very close to up his butt.
That was
very
wild,
close.
dude.
It's like hit him in his back and his tailbone. But
You
if
know,
he goes at a
rivalry.
different angle, we might be having a big issue.
You know, in radio, you can't say anything's going in and out of a butt. That's why I'm glad to be a digital audio pioneer because I mean sometimes it's absolutely necessary.
It
That
almost
microphone
happened, yeah.
almost went
You
up his
can't
butt.
say that?
You
Now we
can't,
can
nothing
live.
can go in and out
Cannot
of a
put
butt.
anything in or out of one of your orifices.
Thanks, YouTube.
Dan Soder did that to Stephen Ross. He was stuffing 10 different championships up the owner of the Dolphins' butt. Speaking of digital pioneer, one of the most popular games anywhere to be found in the digital space is Real or Fake Podcast. Let's play it.
Listen up. Time to think fast. Is this a real or fake podcast?
Been a minute.
Talk to him, baby.
You guys remember how to play this game? I say a podcast name, and you try to guess if I'm trying to trick you with a fake one or if it's an actual real podcast.
Do we have buzzers?
No, we just go around the main room over there. Here we go. Game Recognized Game with Miles Turner. Is this a real or fake podcast?
I'm going to say fake. I don't. Come on.
I'm saying fake.
That is a real
Yeah, that
podcast.
feels real.
I
It felt
believe he
real.
co-host it with Brianna Stewart.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes
Game
sense.
recognized game, boys.
Game Recognized Game.
That
Next
sounds
up,
great, actually.
The Rush with Max Crosby.
I don't think Max Crosby has his own podcast. I've heard him be, available to all other podcasts, but that'd be a good name for him, The Rush with Max Crosby. I'm going to say no.
I'm going no.
That is indeed a real podcast. The Rush with Max Crosby.
Co-hosted by Cooper Rush.
Up on Game with TJ Hushmanzada.
What is it called?
Up on Game with TJ Hushmanzada.
It's a great name. I salute. It's a funny name, and I'm going to say it's fake just because you went for the funny name.
I don't think it's a funny name.
You don't think TJ, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show, is TJ Hushmanzada a funny name? Yes or no?
Oh, no. That's a...
But not up on... Oh, you're having a bad week, dude.
Write that down, baby.
Up.
Is it real or is it fake?
Well, I'm trying to guess what Zaslow even meant.
I don't think it's real.
Did you make a guess?
No.
It's a real podcast, and it's co-hosted with LeVar Arrington. You guys are bad at this game. We Want the Funk with Dory Funk Jr.
Oh.
Is this a real or fake podcast?
You know
Rest
about-
in peace, Terry Funk.
You know about that Funk family?
I know the Funk Brothers. There's no way that's real. There's just not a way.
A lot of wrestling podcasts out there.
I'm going real.
No. Come on.
Yeah. It's got a lot to say.
Jonathan
Is this
Zaslow.
the fourth best Funk brother?
You believe We Want the Funk with 84-year-old Dory Funk Jr. is a real podcast.
Yeah.
You are incorrect. It is fake.
We're friends on Facebook.
Dory Funk Jr.?
Yeah.
I'm glad I got that story. Lastly, Cousins with Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady.
And Kirk Cousins. I'm going to say no. That's a fake podcast. I think they've got too much work elsewhere to do their own podcast.
This is real. It is a new podcast they're launching.
Says, look at you. Way to rally, pal. It is indeed a brand new podcast and the inspiration for this entire list that featured We Want the Funk with Dory Funk Jr.
84-year-old Dory Funk Jr.
Still doing it.
Not podcasts. He's evidently still not doing podcasts. He's still doing it. You mean living, right?
Wrestling.
No, he's
He
not.
is still living.
Yes, he is wrestling.
He's
Yes,
80.
he is.
He's not. He's 84. He's not wrestling. What are you talking about? He's older than my father.
Mae Young and the Fabulous Moolah still wrestled into the 80s.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
he does a school. He's still teaching. He's in the ring.
He may teach. That
I
nobody
think we have a
wants.
staffer here that was trained by Dory Funk
Put it
Jr.
on the poll at Le Batard Show. Does anyone want to see an 84-year-old professional wrestler? There's no way. Like, he might be teaching. He's not wrestling. He's not actively wrestling.
I guarantee you he has wrestled a match within the last year.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you think 84-year-old Dory Funk Jr. has wrestled a match in the last year?
Great game, man. I missed this one.
Did David Sampson report earlier that it's like we come in next Tuesday and find out that Ohtani is dating Tyler Glass now, and everyone's just going to be like, "Yep, that's a normal thing." Like David, I should have asked some follow-up questions there when he said that the movie Heated Rivalry
TV show
is a normal thing.
I have a bold prediction. You remember when Drive to Survive became a huge hit? And everybody in every pitch meeting for like the next 5 years was like, it's like the Drive to Survive, but for LPGA golf. Watch out for gay love stories across all other sports. It's like Heated Rivalry, but for NASCAR.
There's already a...
it's a whole genre of books.
Yeah.
My wife is very into it.
There's already a softball show that was greenlit by the same Canadian network, Crave, I believe. It's either Crave or Pop. I'm not sure.
Dan, it turns out that I am, in fact, wrong about Dory Funk Jr. because his last match was over a year ago. Matter of fact, it was August of 2024. So barely over a year ago. But I do have to tell you, his last match was a double hell current explosion death match.
Let's get all the sounds that record for posterity Zaslow's terrible 10 days around here that culminated with him telling you to take the Nets last night, who lost by 56 points.
Didn't you want to know how that? What were the kids doing?
I really failed in not playing that for Adnan and Samson and asking them what movie he was talking about.
The Packers win or the Bears lose.
You live by a substation, buddy?
Oh, boy.
I don't think strange for me, but like...
Oh, boy.
Again, and the whole thing culminated with him yesterday in a first-time appearance for a sponsor that we really value and a betting segment that we value. Zaslow told you to take the Nets plus 11.5, and again, they lost by 56 and scored a league low this season, 66 points in an NBA basketball game.
Don't be afraid to buy up to plus 55. That's on you. You always want to, you always want to play it safe.
Oh, boy.
He was off the fourth rail this week.
I mean, you can tell how that was an honest mistake, right?
I got a burger out of it.
We got fourth wall, third rail. You mix them together. What do you got? Fourth rail. Keep it moving, baby.
He's right about that.
Dan, from you coming, that's rich, by the way. Absolutely rich coming from you.
Oh, from you
coming.
That it's like the Heated Rivalry, but of PGA golf.
From the maker of the fourth rail, the you coming.
What were you trying to say about Signetti?
Okay. What I was trying to say was that I like the fact that he said, Google me, and then he went out and did it. What I was trying to talk about the fourth rail, between the fourth wall and the third rail, is that he looks at the camera, which you didn't know, by the way, non-ball watcher.